Hey everyone, Warden of the North here, and what I want to go over today is a very basic carrier landing. Okay, so all we want to do is get on the deck safely. We don't care about case 1, case 2, case 3, any of that stuff. We're not going by the book. This is very, very basic so that you know how to at least land on the carrier. Okay? Any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. So this is for the beginner, this is for the noob, someone who's never tried DCS and is just getting into it, someone who's never flown the F-18, they bought it and they want to learn more about it. They want to be able to take off and land safely on land or on a carrier. So let's get started here. The first thing we need to know is we need to know the TACAN and ILS channel for the carrier. Okay, so we're going to hit escape on our keyboard, go to the briefing. TACAN is 74 X-ray, ICLS is 11. These are the two numbers that we need. Now, just a heads up, if you download a mission from another source somewhere, that information might not be in the mission briefing. I had to manually enter that myself so that I would have that information. Okay, so when you download a mission, make sure that that information is in there, and if it isn't, see if there's some way that you can get it through the mission editor. I can do it through the mission editor, but if you've never done this before, then you may not be able to. But anyways, that's for another video. So bottom line is TACAN 74 X-ray, ICLS 11. So we'll hit fly, we'll continue. Our speed right now is indicated at 332. Our altitude is dropping. We're at 13,000 feet. So that's not too bad here. So right now, my throttle is all the way back, and I'm in a slight dive, a little more than 5 degrees. So I want to make sure our jet is configured for the carrier. So hook bypass should be set to carrier. Anti-skid is off. Anti-skid is on only for ground landings. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to find out what, sorry, we've got 74 X-ray and ICLS 11, so we want to set that up. So bring up our HSI page right here. TACAN is there, but ILS is not. We'll show you how to get that on. So TACAN on the UFC, it's 74 X-ray, so clear this, we'll make it 74 X-ray. Make sure there's a colon next to the X. Enter, turn it on. Good. Now we have our TACAN information entered. ILS channel 11. So clear this. 11. Enter. On. Now ILS is available on the HSI. So we're going to box TACAN. We're going to box ILS. Now we have a visual reference of our carrier. It's about 20 miles out, a little more than that. Now what we want to do is basically fly our needles in. This flight path marker right here needs to be in the middle of the needles. The needles are the vertical line and the horizontal line that's going to come up. All right, we're at 288 knots indicated. All right, we get rid of this. Next thing we want to do is make sure that we are lined up. We want to get our information from the carrier. So we will contact the carrier, tell them we're coming in. All right, Truman, inbound. All right. Now, whatever you hear here with this this dialogue or monologue or whatever it is, there's two numbers you want to pay attention to specifically. Okay, 29903 and BRC of 229. Okay, 29903 and 229. Okay, so 29903. I want to adjust this knob so it's 29903. Yep, there you go. Yeah, that's about right. And then 229s are BRC, right? 229. So we're going to hit course right here. We're going to hold down the left mouse button until the course marker starts spinning, and we got C-cell on the UFC. And then we want to type in 229, enter. So 229, enter. That's a BRC. BRC is basically the direction that the carrier is going in. Okay, so it's bearing 229 right now. So we want to make sure that we know what that is, because we're going to definitely need our HSI to help us land. All right. So right now it's scaled at 40. 40 nautical miles. All right. So that means that the airspace around our jet is 40. This represents 40 miles out. Okay, so we want to bring that down to 10. I personally like it at 5, okay, because then 5 is, you can get a better reference of how far you are away from the carrier if you set it to 5. So that means that the space around our jet is at 5 miles right here. Okay, so obviously the carrier's way out there. We can see it. It's right, I don't know if you can see it, but I can. It's right there. And we're at 11.4 miles from the carrier. Why it says TKR, I don't know. Someone will probably say it in the comments. All right. We have F2, see you at 10. Okay, so once we're within 10 miles, we're going to tell the carrier that we see him at 10 miles. And then we'll start configuring the jet for our landing. Okay, we're at 9.9, so we hit F2, see you at 10. Okay, 12.7, that's basically our fuel. If you have a look, 12.4, 12.7, that's roughly what it is. Okay, so now we want to make sure that we configure our jet. So we're going to bring our gear down, flaps down. We're going to make sure our speed is below 300. Okay, flaps coming down. Flaps are set to full, by the way, not half, full. Okay, and once our gear's down, we've got our needles, all right? So it's very, very simple at this point. We want to make sure that our speed is between 150 and 130, whatever we need to get us on the proper glide slope, all right? Those needles in that E bracket represent proper glide slope. So for this, we need to be able to trim the nose, okay? Trim, pitch trim or trim pitch, whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to go to adjust controls. I have my trim bound to my key on my HOTAS, which is the Logitech X56. All right, so we want to hit trimmer switch, pull, climb. For keyboard, it's right control plus period, and then trim, push, descend, right control plus semicolon. Okay, so those would be the keys on the keyboard that you need. For me, it's on my stick, so it's right there. I'm just going to hit cancel there. All right. So right now what I'm doing is I'm trimming, I'm cutting my speed, and I'm trimming so that I get the flight path marker right in the middle of that E bracket. Okay. All right, and I'm constantly trimming to make sure that it's right in the middle of that E bracket. All right, you see this little blinking circle? That means I'm on speed, but my hook is not down yet. So I'm going to press H on my keyboard to bring my hook down. There goes my hook. All right, and now I'm 4.8 miles from the tank, not the tanker, the carrier. I hate that TKR. Anyways, right now, all I'm doing is I'm flying the needles. So I'm ignoring everything and I'm making sure that the flight path marker is right on those needles. Okay, so I've got the flight path marker in the middle of the E bracket. I'm going to fly the needles. You see how far right we are of the carrier? That's because we're going to land on an angled deck. So we're not going to fly directly behind the carrier. I'm a little high and I'm a little right. Okay. 2.9 miles away from the carrier. Okay, so one thing you need to set here before we continue, I'm going to hit escape on the keyboard. Adjust controls. We want to make sure that we set our ball call, or whatever you want to call it. When you're at 3/4 of a mile from the LSO, they'll say you're aircraft in the groove. You're at 3/4 of a mile, call the ball. All right, so you want to do that at around the 1 mile mark or 3/4 of a mile. So in order to do that, it's not bound. Warning, heads up right now, it's not bound to the keyboard. You have to do it manually, all right? I bound it to the letter P, to my P key, so I'll hit P, and it's called hornet ball, all right? So you need to bind this command to your keyboard. I put it on P because I was going through the entire keyboard and P was one of the keys. It was free, so I use that. All right, so I'm gonna hit P right now. I'm about 2.5 miles. I can still do it. I don't care. We're not going by the book here, so. All right, we're still a little haul. We're still a little high. Okay. All right, so now we get the calls from the LSO. The LSO is gonna help us come in. All right, I'm way too far right, and I'm too high. So I'm gonna bring my speed down, cut my throttle. I need to be. There we go. Need to be a little. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right now I'm just watching the needles and I'm watching that E bracket, okay? Now I want to put the flight path marker on the crotch of the ship. Crotch of the ship is right there. That's the crotch of the ship right there, okay? From here on in, I'm flying the needles, keeping the flight path marker on the crotch of the ship and keeping it in the middle of that E bracket. All right, so we'll resume. I'll just hit escape. Okay. Okay, here we go. It's kind of sketchy. And cut my throttle. Hopefully I'll catch the third wire. There we go, wire 3. There you go. Alright. Next thing we want to do is clean up our jet. Bring our wings up. Hit S on the keyboard for nose wheel steering high. And then bring our hook up. And then clear the flight deck. Okay, deck screen, ready for the next jet to land. And that's pretty much it, guys. So, again, I'm not the pro. I'm not the guy who likes to go by the book. Eventually, what happens is you do end up flying by the book. You do end up landing by the book. You do end up doing a lot of these things by the book because by the book is the best way to do it. But for all intents and purposes, if you're just starting out and you're just learning this, you want to be able to land. So this is going to show you how to land properly, how to land safely. And then once you get used to that, once you can do this very, very easily, then you attack case 1 and case 2 and case 3. All right. So I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and do all that stuff. All right. Ciao for now.